like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
For our country and for our children, the best is yet to come.
Once upon a time, thousands of tweets ago, in a universe many hoped would never become real, America was a very different place. Barack Obama was president, and with it the realization of the dreams of Abraham Lincoln and Dr. King seemed like a real possibility. However, an American, a New Yorker, a real estate mogul, a reality TV star with a checkered history decided to run for president. Donald Trump had many believed that America would become great again. So I have put together a timeline of his key moments, starting with him throwing in the hat to become president, through to his dealings with the media, immigration, Russia, COVID, to his fall from power and his many attempts to steal the election through manipulation or violence. Welcome to the House of Trumps. Welcome back everybody, and if this is the second video of mine that you're watching, you know what to do. Click the like button. It's free and causes videos like this to spread across the internet.
So why not grasp the nettle, Donald Trump, and announce in this interview that you will run for the White House in 2016?
Well, that would make a lot of people happy, I can tell you, and probably some people not so happy.
Anyone who thought he was joking quickly stopped laughing as he descended the escalator in Trump Tower to begin an attack on Mexican immigrants.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
And his campaigning continued with more shocking beliefs.
I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
It was about America being great again. For Trump, it would not be about building bridges. It would be about separation, division, and building walls.
And Mexico will pay for the wall.
With a race to the White House, which would reflect his true views.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals.
What I say is what I say.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the do anything.
Despite what he said about being a celebrity or about women, the following January, Trump became the 45th president of the United States.
This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
His inauguration was followed by a record-breaking Women's March, followed by more protests caused by his Muslim travel ban. He dropped one of the world's largest non-nuclear bombs in Afghanistan, launched missile strikes against Syria, and announced the US removing itself from the Iran nuclear deal, as well as rolling back environmental laws and leaving the Paris Climate Accord.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
Key campaign promises such as reducing taxes was kept. However, promises about the wall, not so much. And another side of Donald Trump came out when he flirted with white nationalists over Charlottesville, Virginia.
You look at both sides, I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either.
With all of this going on, there was an underlying issue that dogged Trump throughout his presidency: Russia. This was about Russian interference in the elections as well as Russian connections to the Trump campaign, even involving a former MI5 agent who claimed Putin was blackmailing Trump due to his adventures in Moscow.
The special counsel confirmed that the Russian government sponsored efforts to illegally interfere with the 2016 presidential election.
6 Trump campaign associates were convicted of colluding with Russia. But on top of that, Trump also went out of his way to defend Vladimir Putin.
It's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
2018 saw Trump meet Kim Jong-un despite having made threats.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
However, his house of cards began to fall with the loss of one of the 2 houses of Congress to the Democrats. His administration was also condemned for separating children of migrants from their parents.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
He attacked ISIS, but he also left Kurdish allies exposed in Syria. One of the key roles of the president is to represent America on the international scene. However, he upset traditional allies, but seemed to be able to bond with former aggressors, the one exception being Boris Johnson.
The United States, we're working on a very big trade deal, and I think it's going to work out very well.
Back at home, he stoked further tension and garnered support from the far right for breaking up a protest over racial justice outside the White House, all for a photo opportunity of him holding a Bible upside down outside a church. This would also be historic because he would become the third president to be impeached and the first but not last of his impeachments, all because he wanted the Ukraine to interfere in the upcoming US election.
Our great country and your president have been put through a terrible ordeal.
However, he was acquitted by the Republican Senate, although for the first time ever, a senator of the same party as the president voted for impeachment. Then something that no president could deal with, no tweet could stop, not even a conspiracy theory. COVID-19. At least 893,000 Americans have died from COVID, partly due to the lack of action from the president after closing the borders, and also due to the mixed messaging, some of which would cause scientists deep concern.
Then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection?
All the while, the president continued to hold rallies.
Yet again, that you should not congregate in crowds.
Until he too caught COVID. He did recover and returned to the White House in a style akin to that of a 1980s action movie. In August, Steve Bannon is arrested for fraud, 3 years after leaving the White House as Trump's chief strategist. Bannon had used money donated to build the Mexican border wall for his personal expenses. Then came the beginning of the end for the Donald Trump presidency. He had campaigned throughout the COVID pandemic and was to have 75 million Americans vote for him. 66% of voters came out or posted their vote, which was to cause controversy. As far back as August, Trump had voiced concerns about postal voting. And on the day after the election, Trump declares both victory and fraud.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
It would not be until November 7th, 4 days after the election, that Biden was announced as the next president of the United States.
A victory for we the people. We've won with the most votes ever cast on a presidential ticket in the history of the nation.
By mid-November, the Trump campaign had started filing lawsuits, and the campaign did not exactly go to plan. A campaign that started on a gold escalator ended at the back entrance of a landscaping parking lot, with bizarre outbursts from Trump supporters.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks! We have to forget about the law! Judges don't count!
To give context, CNN had announced Biden had won, Trump was playing golf at the time, and the Trump campaign was in a parking lot next to a pornography store. By December, the Justice Department stated they'd found no widespread voting fraud, as well as the Supreme Court. Trump would not go down without a fight. He called the Secretary of State of Georgia and pressured him to find votes so that Trump could win Georgia. The next day, the call was leaked.
I just want to find 11,780 votes. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that?
Georgia lawyer Ryan Germany shot that down.
No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
But have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
He then threatened them.
You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk.
After that phone call, Trump supporters began planning a protest. On the 6th of January 2021, Trump supporters and white supremacists gathered to protest the results of the 2020 presidential election. Trump stirred up and enraged the crowd.
We're gathered together in the heart of our nation's capital. This egregious assault on our democracy. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
And finally ordering them to go and release that hate upon the US
Anyone
Capitol.
you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And after this, we're going to walk down and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down.
During that speech, he said the word slaughtered once, killed 3 times, dead 5, destroyed 6, and the word fight or fighting 20 times. The mob overwhelmed the Capitol Police and pushed their way into the US Capitol, where Congress is meeting to certify the election results.
Feel the rage, the madness.
The police shot and killed one pro-Trump demonstrator as she tried to break through a door, and one Capitol Police officer died as a result of injuries sustained from the Trump rioters. Despite all of this, members of the Senate did come out and support him.
What does it say to the nearly half the country that believes this election was rigged?
We do need an investigation into irregularities.
Will we allow the media that is just as guilty as QAnon of presenting truth and lies to divide us?
By January 13th, 2021, Donald Trump becomes the first US president to be impeached twice, once for incitement of insurrection. The House voted 232 to 197, with 10 Republicans supporting the impeachment. The Senate also repeated and changed history, with 7 Republicans agreeing to convict the now former president, but not enough to convict him. I do have a funny clip to show at the end, but to state, this is only part of the journey, as Trump continues to show interest in running again and is even hosting dinners to raise funds. However, all might not be so plain, as I will show in upcoming videos. Giuliani is being sued, as is Fox presenters, and the Trump family, as well as multiple investigations into tax fraud and business fraud. It is likely they are all in deep trouble, but that is for another video. In the meantime, check out my last video on Trump, Farage, and then check out this weird little clip. Thanks for listening and bye for now.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.